So if you think about it and you continue to do this, it's pretty cool, because if you continue to make this happen and happen and happen, you're not actually putting in any additional money in a way. You're kind of just recycling your money, and you're able to buy more than one crib in a year. We personally know people that do this strategy and have legitimately bought 3 to 4 cribs in a year. And I'm not even making this up.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 16 of Rookie Mondays. Today we'll be discussing 4 fire strategies that'll get you started in real estate, one of which that can get you multiple properties in a very short amount of time. So I'm excited to get to this one. Let's get to it, no?
All right, so we're going to cover the first one, which is buy and hold. This is like the most boring one, so we're going to get out the way really quickly. I'll cover the residential side of it, and he can cover the investing side. So let's get into it. Buy and hold for a residential people, aka you're actually living in the home. So let's just say you bought a home for $100,000 and you're like, okay, I'm gonna live in this for 5 years. This strategy actually works for you because if you look at the graph right now, you see that home prices typically go up over a very long period of time. And especially with the whole supply and demand issue that we've been speaking about, we see prices continuing to going up, right? Well, if you bought the actual house for $100,000, and let's say in 5 years, it's worth, I'm just going to throw a number out there, 150.
Sure.
Well, now you can actually take out and sell your property, get that profit, and you're going to be good. So that's great. Or if you don't want to sell and you want to continue living in the home, you can take a loan against your property because you paid down a decent mortgage size already. And then with the extra cash you get, you can do whatever you want, aka invest in stocks or go buy some other real estate. So that's going to be great for my residential people. Now, if you're looking for the investing side, that's a little different.
Yeah, so once you run your numbers as an investor now, you want to make sure that when you find people to rent out your property, because that's what you do as an investor, find renters, you want to make sure that the rent money you're getting can cover your mortgage. All right, so through a process called amortization, over time, the amount of money that you pay per month actually decreases. Why is this? This is because your principal is being paid down. Your interest rate is the same, but now think about it. If you're paying an interest rate on a lower principal, over time your monthly mortgage or your monthly payment is lower.
Yep.
And so think about your rent money that you're getting from your people either stays the same or increases over time as the amount that you owe the bank decreases over time.
Exactly.
And so you're pocketing more money. That's called cash flow. You're making more cash flow over time.
Right.
So people love the buy and hold strategy as investors.
Yeah, and just numbers for you guys. Let's just say you bought the property for $100,000 and you're paying a rate of like, let's say 5%. Well, the first year, you're actually paying an interest overall of $5,000. Now, let's just say because you paid down the principal and it's $90,000 of your principal, when you use that whole 5%, you're actually paying $4,500 now. So you're actually paying $500 less, but as you said earlier, you're collecting a bigger cash flow because your rent is still high. So now you actually capitalize on both sides of the game, which is pretty dope. Now, let's go on to number 2. The BRRRR strategy. I know it's a little confusing, so I'm gonna let you explain it.
Yeah, so please don't think we're talking about Gucci Mane with the whole BRRRR thing. Shout out him. But we're talking about a real estate strategy called BRRRR, and it stands for buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and then repeat. So, for example, let's say we find an area that we like, and we're like, okay, the houses in this area average cost of about $100,000. And then you want to look for an undervalued property, a property that might have damage to it, right? It might be dilapidated and needs some fixing up. So
that's a big word.
Dilapidated might be damaged, right? So it needs some fixing up. I've been studying, you know what I mean? But, so you find this house, it's worth $50,000 right now because, like we said, it's damaged. So you get into this property and you want to buy it. Now you go to your your lender, and you have to put 20% down because it's an investment property.
For all my people listening, sorry to cut you off. I want to make sure you guys know investment property, you have to put 20% down. You guys already know this if you listen to other episodes, so just know that right now, but continue.
Yeah, thank you. Exactly. So if you put 20% down on 20% down payment on a $50,000 house, that means you paid $10,000. Therefore, you have a loan of $40,000. All right, it's time to renovate it. So now that we're renovating it, we realize that our repair costs about, let's say, $16,000, combined with the closing costs. Okay, you're all into this property with repair and closing. with $20,000 plus the 10 you initially put down, you paid $30,000 to acquire this house, fix it up, and everything.
Yep.
Perfect. Cool. So at this point, you got to find your renters. We got people renting the house out because it's all fixed up and it's nice. Let's talk about the refinance part.
Bet. So I'm going to summarize this real quickly for you guys. So let's just think about it, right? The actual home that you bought is $50,000. The down payment is 20%. So you got $10,000. And after repair and closing, you have another 20 to add to it. So your total payment is $30,000. So now that you got that, let's talk about the actual loan that you own on the home, which is $40,000. So this is where the cool part comes in. Now that you actually fixed the property, and as we said earlier, the property value around everything else was $100,000, your home that you bought went to $100,000. Congrats, you just made a great decision. Well, now when you go to a bank and you're like, yo, I actually just fixed up this home, I want to appraise it, I want to do a cash out refinance, they give you up to 80% of that home. So, Mr. Math right here, if $100,000 is the actual property value, 80% is
$80,000.
Bet. So now you know you got $80,000 cash, but you actually owe the bank $40,000 because that's what the mortgage was. So you pay that off. So 80 minus 40, boom, you have $40,000 left. But you also now have to realize that you put in $30K because you put $20K for a closing plus repair plus the down payment. So 40 minus 30, $10K profit, right? Now what you do after that is repeat, which is the last part of this whole strategy. So if you think about it and you continue to do this, it's pretty cool because if you continue to make this happen and happen and happen, you're not actually putting in any additional money in a way. You're kind of just recycling your money, and you're able to buy more than one crib in a year. We personally know people that do this strategy and have legitimately bought 3 to 4 cribs in a year. And I'm not even making this up.
Nah, for real. For real. I think that's the best part of it. Like you said, you get to recycle that money. If you think about it, you low-key got paid to do it because you came out with $10K at the end of it. There's nothing beats that strategy. BRRRR Strategy is by far my favorite real estate strategy.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. So let's go on to the third one. But before we do that, I know y'all got to do something. Y'all got to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Plus, hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week.
And you do not want to miss them, all right? So let's continue with house hack. So, house hacking. I love the strategy. I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I'm very excited about it because I plan to do this myself in the upcoming months. So, house hack is pretty dope because essentially is when you see a house that you like, right? And you actually buy it as a residential property. Why? Because you plan to live in that house. So let's just say the house has, you can do this with single and multifamily, it doesn't matter, but single family, so let's say it has 4 rooms. You actually buy the home, you decide that, yo, I'm gonna live inside 1 room, I'm gonna have Rel and 2 other friends come live with me. They're gonna pay a portion of the mortgage. Great, I don't have to worry about it. I basically live for free because I bought the home. And now I'm good to go because now my mortgage is paid for. I have flexibility because I can move out whenever I want. And also, if you think about it, I can now go and buy other homes because I saved up some cash. That's another thing that goes into this. So I think house hacking is beautiful.
House hacking is beautiful. It's a way that a lot of people have gotten into real estate thus far. You know, because like we said, like you could house hack at first. But then when you move out, now it's an investment property. Right. You know, now it's an investment property. Now you get those tax benefits. Because there's even more tax benefits when you have an investment property. Like something called depreciation, for example. You can now take advantage of that. So you're actually getting money back.
Exactly. So if you're looking to get into real estate right now and you don't have, let's just say, $50,000 in the bank, remember, we talked about strategy with you guys earlier in the last episode right? So we explained how you can get homes for 3.5%, 5%, 3%, even no down payment whatsoever. So definitely check these out because if you do house hack, it works extremely, extremely well. So with that being said, let's go on to number 4. Let's kick it off with flipping. So what you got for them?
Yeah, house flipping is a very short-term strategy. It's a way to get money quickly in real estate. So what people do is you have to run your calculations when you do a house flip. So for example, first of all, house flipping is when you buy a house that's damaged and then you fix it up and then you sell it for profit in the most simple terms. So people use something called the 70% rule. And an example of the 70% rule is, let's say that your after repair value, after you do your repairs, your house is worth $100K. Did your calculations on that. you shouldn't pay more than 70% of that minus the repair cost that you put in. So 70% of that is $70,000.
Yep.
Okay, minus, let's say you put in $20,000 for repairs. You shouldn't pay more than $50K for the house when you first acquire it.
Yep.
All right, so people use that calculation to make sure that their numbers are good for flipping and that they're going to be profitable at the end of the process.
Exactly. I think that was beautifully explained, honestly. And you guys might be wondering, how do you know the after repair value? How do you guys actually do the flipping? How do you do the actual work behind renovating or rehabbing? Well, because we're the Bad Talk Show, we're going to tell you right now. One of the biggest pieces of real estate is you have to have a team, right? Like, the reason why the Bad Talk Show works is because we're a team. Same thing, a company or any other successful business works is because they're a company. There's no difference when it comes to real estate. You have to have contractors that you trust. You have to get those contractors by referral, right? So if you know someone that has a beautiful contractor that they did a great job of their actual initial home for, use them, right? If you don't know a contractor and you don't know any referrals, would you go to them, bro?
Nah. You know, I want to make another tip on that though. Like, on contractors, if you walk around and you see people working on the house, yo, walk around, look at their work, talk to the contractors, ask them to show you work that they've done, ask them to show you the work they're currently doing.
Yep, and I want to, piggyback on that. One of the biggest tips my mentor gave me one time was this: anytime a business reaches out to you, always ask for referrals. So why would you think real estate is any different when you're putting down $50,000 and $60,000 worth of cash? You want that change. Also, another Bad Talk tip is go to Home Depot early in the morning. Go to Lowe's early in the morning at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m. time, because that's when you see all the busy people, contractors buying stuff, right? And then you get to talk to them, like, what do you do for a living? I see you working with a bunch of different products. I see you have a lot of tools on you. What do you do? They can help you out. So those are some cool tips, but we're about to wrap the show up right now. Before we do that, obviously, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that little notification bell because we drop
2 videos a week
and you don't want to miss them. Also, special shout out to these 2 people, Brandon Turner and David Green. We spoke about the BRRRR strategy. We spoke about the rental property investing stuff. Definitely check out those 2 guys and check out their books because they helped us a lot. Also, make sure you're speaking to your lenders, you're speaking to your mortgage people, you're speaking to your agents, because real estate is tricky, right?
Real estate is very tricky, and make sure you know your numbers. Real estate is a game of numbers. That's what I love about it, because, I love math. So it's a game of numbers, and we're going to help you with numbers because coming up in upcoming episodes, we have a whole calculator we're going to show you that we use to make sure that we know what's a good buy and what's not a good buy.
Exactly. And speaking of, should we tell them?
We should tell them.
All right, so if you guys stuck around, we didn't cover one of the most popular strategies, which is wholesaling, and we have a special guest next week who is a young dude who owns properties, who's been in the wholesale game, and the man owns a bunch of actual wholesale deals that he's done himself. All right, so make sure you tune in because he's going to give you guys free game on this show, and make sure you check that out next Monday. But until then, peace.
Peace.